Back again with live number 5 for the day. We're going live with my husband, Nate, and today we are going to talk about kitchen tools for beginners on raw and kitchen tools for fun, like seasoned raw foodies, like some new different things that might help you out to expand a little bit your kitchen. Today, we're going to be talking about that, so it's going to be fun, especially for people who are new to the lifestyle. I'm going to... Nate, he's coming on. He's going to be in the office, and he's got all the tools ready to show you guys.
Hey!
Hey, babe! Hi.
All right, let's see. Can you see okay? Here, let me turn on this light. What is good? Here we go. Number 5 for the day. Live number 5.
Yeah, live number 5.
Right. Can you see the stuff?
Okay. Yeah, kind of on the bottom.
Or would it be better if I came closer and just held them up? Okay.
All right,
whatever.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
All right, here we go. We're ready.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready. So, thank you for joining me for another live today to promote the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle and talk about your course that is currently in the bundle. So can you talk about what you've contributed to this amazing bundle that you guys can get in the link in Nate's bio? Go to Nate's page.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on and putting me in your busy schedule. You know, this has been a lot of fun, definitely. And what I contributed this year was what I called my Ultimate Raw Vegan Kitchen Essentials. I didn't call it Ultimate. I'm getting it confused. It's the Raw Vegan Kitchen Essentials course. So what this is it's a video course going over all of the things that I feel are essential as a raw vegan, as well as how, you know, certain things, certain tools and gadgets can be handy. I kind of go over that, broke it up into different modules. Talking about the dehydrator, a module of itself, and even getting into like the really high-priced tools like our freeze dryer that we have. When talking about that, talking about storing it, the best way to store it, and just the tools that I feel are really helpful to make this diet fun, efficient, and clean.
Yes, excellent. So let's start with the beginner tools. Like, what would you say if somebody is coming into this lifestyle and they have no idea what they need? They're like, if I buy the bundle, what tools do I need to make stuff from the bundle? So what would you suggest be the bare minimum essentials for someone to upgrade their kitchen or get like some really cool stuff to help them add more raw
So
food
what
to their
I
life?
feel are the essentials are probably stuff that everybody already has. When I think about it, in a lot of ways, I think a knife and a cutting board, right? Just to cut your vegetables, cut your fruit. So those right there would be in the group of the essentials. Now, of course, a cutting board that's maybe a little bit stiffer, a little more rigid is kind of nice because you could move it around if you're cutting in your car or something. So a cutting board or a couple different cutting boards, a knife, and the knife with the sheath is really handy because it protects the blade and you can, you know, move with it, or if you put it in your drawer with your other silverware, you're not messing up your blade because you want to make sure you keep your knife sharp, which that, of course, would bring me to the knife sharpener, something real simple just to kind of hone your knife in and get it sharp. That's going to make your stuff a lot easier. So just these, and essentially, that's really all you need. But, and of course, like a paring knife, a smaller knife, that's really handy. So, you know, 2 knives. And then, of course, a fork, right? You got to be able to eat certain things. And a fork is really nice. We like these bamboo forks. You don't chip your teeth, right? Because you're not usually putting metal in your mouth. So that's why I really like them. And then a spoon is really nice to have. Everybody has forks and spoons. You can use whatever you want. We like the wood. And then I really think that this is kind of essential. We eat a lot of grapefruit. A grapefruit spoon is just quick and easy. I don't know. I mean,
another thing I love about the grapefruit spoon is, for those of you who bought the bundle, there's a couple recipes for stuffed mushrooms in there The grapefruit spoon is game changing because you can serrate, like it's serrated edges, so you can just cut out the center of the mushroom and you can get so much out of the mushroom, so you can stuff more in it. Yeah,
definitely a handy spoon to have. So the fork, the knife, and the spoon, right? That's the next thing. And then you have your bowls to eat stuff out of. Something like this is really inexpensive. Depending on where you shop, this could be like maybe $6. It's a real lightweight bamboo bowl, but it's a pretty big size. So you could realistically, like, here, you know, boom. Like, there it is, the essentials. Here, you want to become a raw vegan? There you go. Right? So that's what I feel like is like the bare minimum essentials. As you can see, the variation of these two bowls, how different they are in size. It's nice to have a big bowl, like a serving bowl, because that's really kind of like, it just makes it nice to toss your salad in, and right? So a bowl, I feel like is really handy, but that really is all you need. Maybe a towel. We like the Norwex, the Norwex microfiber, right? You got to wipe your hands up. You got to keep your tools clean. Towel could be pretty nice, pretty essential, but most people have those.
Yeah. So then comes in the next part of the essentials, which would be, I mean, I feel like the blender, and my mom's asking in the chat, what's the best Vitamix to buy? So now that we get into the appliances, what would you say best Vitamix, and then about the food processor? So like those are the next step kind of essentials.
One thing I didn't throw in the essentials before we skip over to the other stuff, a peeler. A peeler is really nice for carrots, beets, cucumber. A peeler can be really handy. So that could be also grouped in with the essentials. That's kind of like, I feel like, pretty handy. And then, of course, before you even get the Vitamix, if you don't have a Vitamix yet, something like this is really nice. A vacuum sealable lid for your mason jars. And you just have the pump, right? These are like $16. And you just pump all the air out of it, and that's a great way to store certain vegetables, or, you know, if you're doing, I mean, you think of anything that you don't want to have oxygenate, that's a great way. And of course, you know, your juices, if you have a juicer, you store your juice in here, your smoothies. But if you don't have a Vitamix yet, then how are you making the smoothies, right? So yeah, if we were to get into the next thing, what the best Vitamix to get would be is really any Vitamix. Right? Like any Vitamix is going to be so key. But I feel like some of it depends on, because there's different series. What I really prefer and why I like this one is it has a narrow base. It's not real wide. So this is kind of one of the older series. But this one here is the 6300. This is a more expensive machine than the base model Vitamix. And this one is great, but I feel like even if you have the base model Vitamix, like we found a Vitamix for $50 on Craigslist. That thing is, I mean, it's worlds better than a lot of other blenders. A Blend Tech, that's a great high-speed blender. I know the Ninjas work too, but if I were to start over again, I would buy this very model, the 6300, because I have ran this thing so hard with making banana nice cream, because I'm really into making banana nice cream, and it's pretty hard on the machine. So I would say, yeah, the 6300, if you can get it, the professional series, it's great. And then invest on some headphones. So when you're using the Vitamix, it is like not loud. Protect those ears. Yeah. It's like maybe $15 for a set of these. It's a pretty loud blender, and you figure over time, just throw them on real quick, unless you have, like, you did your hair up or whatever, right? Then you could put them on like this. But yeah, I think
totally.
No matter what Vitamix people have, that's better than not having a blender. So if you've already invested on a Vitamix, just use it. It's good to go. But if you get this series and you can get the narrow base, or any of the older series, you can actually do this upgrade of this craft with this super epic lid. And then you can also, it'll come with the vacuum, the BioChef. This is all one setup right here, right? That goes right on top of the Vitamix. This would be the next thing I would invest in. Because what this does is this vacuum sucks all the air out of the blender that's in there. It sucks it out. So that way, whenever you're blending your smoothies or your dressings or sauces, you're not oxygenating what you're blending because there's no air in it. So this is a very nice upgrade to the Vitamix. And for me personally, as well as I know for the same for you too, babe, we would invest in this right away. Actually, we bought another set that's in the closet just in case something happened to this one. This is so incredibly amazing. The vacuum blend. And then of course, whatever you blend, your dressing, store it under vacuum seal it, and then you put it in the fridge and it lasts that much longer, your dressing or your smoothie, or especially if you do like coconut water, or you're cracking a bunch of coconuts, you can save the water for a day or two longer than it would stay fresh. So yeah, that's my roundup on the Vitamix.
Yeah. So I wanted to also add, somebody in the chat said don't get the Ascent, because the Ascent series, like the newer ones with the Bluetooth and all that fancy stuff, the BioChef doesn't work on those. It doesn't fit on the base. So get one of the older versions. They still make them. They still sell them. You can get one refurbished. You could get a used one. The older versions of Vitamix, like the 5200, the 6300 is, I agree with you. It's like the best model for the older versions. Those ones fit the BioChef on top, and the BioChef you can get from John Kohler's website.
Yeah, the BioChef. You've got just
a
different kind of lid with those really nice rubber seals, so it makes a nice airtight seal. It has a different kind of bearing on the bottom. So all of this is one unit. It comes. It's like an extra $180 or something, $200. So it is an investment. And we didn't get one for the longest time. And then when we did, we're like, oh my gosh, seriously, why did we wait so long? It's completely different style of smoothie or soup. Like we'll make soups or mushroom marinara, make the marinara sauce. Instead of having to be all bubbly, it's just so creamy smooth. It's amazing.
Yeah, and another bonus to having the vacuum blender is that you could blend a double batch of dressing and seal the second batch under vacuum, and you'd have fresh dressing for the next day. It's so good at preserving it for the next day or two or whatever. We use it for taking camping and everything, but you guys can get the BioChef on John Kohler's website, discountjuicers.com. And if you want to know which blenders it fits on the website that he has, if you search BioChef, he's got a list of all the blenders that it fits on. So you can just go over to his website and see if
so good.
Models
yeah, so whatever, this, the sealable lids, man, like that's, then your essentials, right? Your bowl and all the simple stuff. That right there, man, you could do so much on this diet and have a really good time just with that.
I wanted to say also, before we continue, anybody who's wondering where to get anything, if you buy the bundle and you log into Nate's Kitchen Essentials course, he has PDFs with links to everything. So even if you're like, oh, I want to link to that, or I want to link to that, go into Nate's course and download the PDF, because all the links to everything are in there. So you have to get the bundle to get that. The link is in his bio. So go to Raw Natty Nate, buy the bundle, leave the live. We don't mind if you leave the live to go grab the bundle and then come back. And then when you do see something that you want, just download the PDF from his course and you can click on all of the tools and you'll have access to all of them.
That was really fun too, to make that PDF. I did it in Canva and I made it kind of a store, and I got all the pictures. So it's nice because you can be like, oh, there's the picture of that thing, or there's the peeler, right? So it's kind of a cool storefront. I personally always love seeing the pictures rather than just what it is and the link. But of course that works too. But yeah, man, I was geeking out on making that catalog.
Yeah, that's so cool. So then now somebody has their bare minimum essentials. They've got their blender so they can make dressings and raw soups and raw chilies and raw curries and smoothies and all kinds of stuff. What would you say would be the next thing to invest in?
Gosh.
And they've got the BioChef. I mean, I know some people can't, and I like, it's sad that you can't get the BioChef for certain blenders, but I think vacuum blending is next level. Like, honestly, like if we did not have the blender we have, I probably would have sold it and bought one that would work, because
it's
such next level.
I mean, we're worth it. For one, we're worth it, man. It's like, I know the Dynapro's $500. If you have a $700 blender and you're throwing $200 on it, that's $900. So just do it. Like, whatever, you're worth it, and it's going to last for so long. That's the biggest thing. If money's not a thing, then you just buy it. But if it is a thing, like for me at the time, it was a thing. And I had to put this blender on a payment plan through Vitamix. And I paid them $50 a month till I paid this off. I think I paid like $200 at the very end and just paid it off. Because I was like, man, I don't know, I don't have $500, $600 to put on a blender right now. You know, I was not in a place where I could do it comfortably. I was just having a hard time with it. So I was like, if there's a payment plan, I'll put it on a payment plan. So I did that. And yeah, the next thing, it's really a toss-up, I feel like, between the food processor and the dehydrator. Because the food processor, you use a lot to make stuff to put in the dehydrator, but with the food processor, you almost could get away with a lot of the things that you do in the food processor with like a grater. But man, it's really a toss-up. And both of those are going to be like a good food processor, like a Cuisinart 14 cup, like a big one, so you could do, you know, a good amount of food for, you know, just you, or like 2, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, even if you're making stuff. When we make burgers, like we'll make a batch of like 6 or even 9 burgers in the thing. It's great. Really makes things so much easier. But that's going to be about $150 to $250 for that food processor, a good high quality food processor, one you can work it hard, and it'll last you for decades. You take care of these pieces of equipment, they're built really well. So that, or like I said, the dehydrator, I don't know, it would be a toss-up between those two. I think I bought my dehydrator and food processor really close, like within the same week, because I wanted to make stuff that required a food processor to make certain things, but I needed a dehydrator to dehydrate it in, because it's really like the raw foodies oven, you know, it's so handy for certain things. So I think it would be kind of a toss-up for me, because really, I bought a juicer before I bought the Vitamix, but you could make your juice in this, and especially if you did it under vacuum, you could blend up your fruit or your greens, or fruit and greens, and then you could squeeze it through a nut milk bag into a jar, and you've got vacuum blended juice, essentially, because you're squeezing out all the pulp. So you don't even really, I mean, in a way, I feel like you wouldn't need a juicer, just you could juice right in the Vitamix. But a juicer is really handy, and it does, I feel like, have a place in a raw foodie's kitchen, because it's nice to be able to extract juices for certain recipes, or even to have a nice, delicious juice. You could do it in the Vitamix. So yeah, the dehydrator would be the next big bite. I brought that in with me. I didn't bring the food processor in, but this thing here, you can see how big it is, right? Like, it's like shoulder width. You know, this is an Excalibur 9 tray dehydrator, right? Pretty good size. So some people may not have this much space to be able to put a dehydrator in, because if you see, like, this is the door, right? Pretty good size, but they actually do a 5 tray. It's a little bit, you know, shorter. It's only like this deep. You know, this is a 9 tray, but they do a 5 tray, and that could really be helpful. And this just really opens the world as to how many different things that you can make, right? Like Lissa's wraps. So we don't use the dehydrator super often. We're probably going to use it more now, because we're going to be making these wraps every other day. That way we can have a wrap every single day if we wanted to, really, if you get the bundle, you get her brand new hand salads book. She's got the links to these silicone trays for your dehydrator. And that's where this is a bigger investment, but we've been using this pretty much, I wouldn't say every day, like at least once a week, if not maybe twice a week for, well, you've had yours, the pink one, for over or around 8 years. You got it in the beginning, right? And I've had mine, which I bought used off Craigslist for, we've been using it over 6 years. You can get the timer and the different heating elements and components for it, because the Excalibur is it's an old school brand. It's just like no nonsense. It's analog, super, super just reliable. But yeah, this would be one of the things that I would get. Like if you're serious and you just like, I'm serious, I want to make some good raw food, some amazing stuff, get the bundle. You'll have the information from you'll have information from over 100 years combined worth of raw food mines. Really, when you think about it, that's incredible. So, and then you've got these nice trays in the dehydrator, which they're perfectly square, so you can rotate them, which is super cool. Get Lissa's wrap book, learn how to make the wraps. Look at those wraps. Amazing.
I know, right? Somebody was asking how long it takes to dehydrate. It depends on where you live, because if it's more humid, it's going to take longer. You know, there's a few factors that come into play, but to make a wrap, it's usually around 12 to 14 hours. But what Nate and I do is before we go to bed, like say around 8 o'clock, you know, 7:30 o'clock earlier,
After dinner.
You know, even 6 o'clock after dinner. Basically after dinner, we blend the wrap. And then the next day it's ready at noon for lunch and we just make a wrap. Yeah. Like it's so easy to make these. You blend it, you pour it, you spread it, put it in the dehydrator. It takes less than 15 minutes to do that. And then you just fill it the next day. And you can actually fill, like you could make multiple wraps and then you could fill them and you could have them for up to 3 days. After you've made it like this and you've filled it and you've put it in the paper, these last for up to 3 days.
Show them the container. You throw it in the Tupperware, throw it in the fridge. It lasts, like really tastes good even on the 3rd day. 4th day, like depending on the kind it is. I think what's the one, the spring roll one with all the cabbage and stuff? What is that one? The rainbow wrap.
I think the rainbow wrap.
That one was actually not bad on the 4th day, but I think that would be like one of the only ones that lasts that long, but they last like 3 days. So, I mean, even one day you make it, like we made them last night, like she's saying, best thing to do, make it after dinner, blend it up real quick, smooth it out onto the tray, pop it in the dehydrator. You don't even have to worry about it. And then in the morning, before you go to work or school or whatever you do all day, you could just make one up, roll it, wrap it, and then you've got lunch. All you do is grab it and eat. Epic.
Exactly. Yeah, so these we wrapped today because we had other wraps for lunch and we're like, well, let's just wrap both wraps.
Yeah.
And these will be our lunch for tomorrow. So we've got lunch already made tomorrow and we spent all of like maybe, I don't even know, like 20 minutes, half hour to make lunch for today and lunch for tomorrow. So like, guys, buy the bundle. Go to the link in Nate's bio. The link is in my bio. You can DM us for a link. We want you to buy the bundle because you're getting over 400 recipes from 40 brand new raw vegan contributions. And I don't think people realize what they're getting, because I've had some people say like, oh, I bought the bundle, but I got 40 books. And I'm like, yeah, you're getting 40. And the cool thing about this bundle is everything is brand new content. You do not have anything that's in this bundle. So this bundle is very, very special. It's very unique, but it's only here until May 11th. You can only get it for $50. You're getting over $1,800 worth of brand new raw vegan content, and it's all raw.
Amazing.
For $50.
Amazing.
Like, guys,
interviews. Yoga courses, workout guides, like Ted has his in there. There's also Madison, who has 2 different books, workout books in there. There's something if you're pregnant, how to raise your kid and not go crazy, you know, eat your plant-based diet. I haven't tapped into everybody's book, but It is, it's amazing. And I feel you. Like, I don't necessarily think everybody realizes, because we're constantly inundated with things to buy, and buy this, consume, tap here, get this now. And we're basically kind of riding along with that train of, oh my gosh, check this out. But if you're into raw foods, or you're into learning how to create some delicious, healthy, oil-free, raw vegan meals for your family and friends, that's something different, you know, different than a bag of chips and some salsa, right? Like, put some time into something, learn a little something new, make some different food. We are making all of this amazing different food stuff that we don't make. And if any of you tune into any of our pages, Lissa and I's page, you know that we're always posting all kinds of food. We eat a lot of amazing food, and we have been finding some bomb recipes, some super good recipes that we're like, oh, we're making this. This is going in our favorites book for sure. This is amazing. We wouldn't have thought of this combination. It's brilliant. And then, of course, Lissa's hand salads book, brilliant, blowing the top off, like changing the world. I feel like in a way, because we scoured the internet and scoured different people's techniques, trying to dial it in to deliver a wrap book that everybody was asking Lissa for. Lissa's like, hey, what do you want to see from me next? This or this? And everybody's like, give us the wraps. And so there's nobody making wraps like this that we found. And so I feel that's why it's going to change the world, is because it's opening the gateway for so many people to be able to make one super simple, quick, like you made those and spread them, got them in the dehydrator, as long as the same amount of time that it took me to make a salad for us for dinner. So it was like 12 minutes, right? And they were in the dehydrator. And then of course today lunchtime comes around, we're like, sweet, we're so stoked we made these last night because we were tired. It's like, oh, we got to make some dinner, you know, we're kind of tired, like, okay, let's just get in there and do it. We put on some music, we danced around a little bit, just got ourselves in the mood, and we were in the kitchen for 12 minutes and then we were eating dinner and we had lunch prep for tomorrow. Bomb. Like, it does not take long. Yeah. And what's cool is if you guys have kids, right, or other people in the household, get them involved. Like, have your kid learn how to make the wrap. Like, if you have the dehydrator and the silicone sheets and the spatula, the kid can make the wrap, smooth it out. That's fun for them while you're preparing some dinner. And then they feel like they're a part of creating some delicious, healthy food too. Like, maybe the kid's not into it tonight, whatever, don't force your kid. But maybe sometimes you can be like, hey, do you want to look at how smooth, look at how fun this is, smoothing it out.
I know, yeah, the smoothing out part is my favorite part. I just like, I love the, like, it's so satisfying when you it, you're like, ooh, this is gonna be good. Susan in the chat is saying, I'm so glad I got the bundle. I wasn't going to buy it this year because I already have a lot of ebooks, but this one was fantastic. Guys, this bundle is such an amazing bundle. It's so creative. Like, there's penne pasta noodles from Next Level Pasta. And Daniel McKinnon has this, like, he's got like fettuccine Alfredo noodles, like instant pre-soaked raw vegan noodles. And he's got a Burberry burger.
So many
Chris's
good
stews,
things. There's like, dessert. There's like 2 books in there that are dedicated to desserts. There's the exclusive Appetizer collaboration book, which is super bomb. I feel like, in a way, I mean, you know, because we're contributors, so we're not buying the bundle ourselves. But if I were to be, you know, not a contributor, I probably would nerd out and buy each bundle just for the collaboration book. So I would have those as my start my own collection, because these are exclusive, only available in that particular bundle. So after this bundle is over, that collaboration appetizer book of 37 different raw vegan chefs from around the world, dedicated, you know, their recipes, you can't get that anywhere else. So for me personally, I thought about it. I'm like, I would buy the bundle just for the collaboration book, because that'd be cool to collect. And I mean, there's 41 recipes in it. So basically, if you bought it just for that book alone, you're paying like $1.05 per recipe or something, you know. And then of course you're helping support all the chefs and all the people who are creating this content for everybody. So, I mean, yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. The bundles are so cool. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, we got a couple comments here. Teams Newman is asking which wrap recipes having for lunch today. So this was the rainbow wrap. And we just filled it with whatever we wanted. We had the same sauce. I think the sauce was from the carrot raisin wrap. But that's the cool thing with my book is you can make a wrapper and you can mix and match. You can use different sauces. You can make the cashew cheese. Like you can make whatever you want from the book. But these ones were the rainbow wrap. And we've been making a lot of the everything bagel wrap because it's like so good. I think next time we should maybe do like, I really like the honey I love mustard. I really like the
they're all good.
I mean, they're all good because
they're full of different vegetables. Yeah, and if you guys want to watch us actually make those very wraps that she's holding right there, I filmed a little live and I uploaded it to my YouTube. Raw Natty Nate is my YouTube, or you can see it on my Instagram as well. It's like 28 minutes of a live. We harvested some lettuce off of our Lettuce Grow farm stand. And then, we made the wraps and we ate a couple bites on camera to show you guys just how fun it is and like easy. We were just so excited that we made them last night. And then so that way we had them today for lunch. It was like, oh, we're so glad we did that because why not? And then we're like, we should probably make wraps every other day because we had a wrap for lunch and then we're saving the ones that Lissa has there for tomorrow's lunch. So we could make wraps again tomorrow after dinner and then we would have wraps the very next. We could have wraps every single day, which, of course, we probably won't do it like that all the time. But I bet we'll probably be eating wraps like at least 3 times a week. Like, really.
Probably. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wraps are just so much fun. Susan is saying, I was making wraps before, but they definitely did not turn out good until I watched Lissa's video.
Same.
Definitely a game changer. So yes, thank you, Susan, for mentioning that. In my wraps book, there is a video, a 27-minute video. So when you buy the bundle from the link in our bios, you can download the Hand Salads ebook, and in there is a 27-minute video showing you how to know when the wraps are done. Because you might think they're done, but they're not. So I have a video explaining in detail how to know when they're done. And later in the video, I also show how to wrap them. So
it's like a 30-minute video, 28 or 27-minute video. And we got some really good close-ups so you can really see the details that once like if everybody could be at our house and we could just show them, then everybody would go home with the knowledge, especially if they blended it up and spread it themselves, right? Everybody have the knowledge. But I feel that video is so groundbreaking because as for someone like myself, which I imagine a lot of you guys out there are the same way, we learn so good when we watch from a video. We're like, oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense. You see things, like they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. A video is worth 1,000 pictures. So that's like, 10,000 words or whatever, 100,000 words. So yeah, video is amazing. And that video that you threw in that book, I think is priceless.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Got a couple more questions here. How do you feel about sun-dried foods on a raw diet? Heck
Love
yeah.
sun-dried.
We're all about the sun-dried foods. It's basically a dehydrator. Yeah. I mean, a dehydrator.
Yeah, I mean, really, like you could have a little fan if you lived in a certain area. Like, if we had some property out in the desert or something, I would want to do it in the city because there's so much stuff in the city, dust and different debris. But if we lived out and about, especially in the desert, we could make our own dehydrator, just have a little fan to blow the warm air over stuff. Could totally do that, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Plantfully Megan is asking, I'm making the sweet ginger rainbow wrap, which is this one. This is the sweet ginger rainbow wrap. And she's asking, I just realized I only have 1 bell pepper. Is there something else I can use in place of it? And this is a great question. So I recommend really following the recipe as closely as possible and using a scale to weigh the stuff, because the reason why I put weights in there is so that you get the appropriate amount of stuff like once you blend it, because when you blend it makes two 14 by 14 wraps. If you leave out any of the things, or if you use smaller onions, for example, a lot of them have onion in it because onion has a really cool fiber. I mean, there's a lot of inulin in onion, and for some reason that makes it really pliable. So this one calls for 2 bell peppers, but if you only have 1 bell pepper, I would probably replace the other one with zucchini. You could peel a zucchini and put a whole zucchini in there, or you could replace it with another sweet onion. But you need the volume to make it work. So it won't taste exactly the same. It'll be close, but those are my suggestions. I would either do more onion or zucchini. You could probably put more tomato in, but it might make it too watery. So, I mean, you could play around with those as options. But what I would recommend mostly is I would recommend go to the store and get some bell peppers. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, someone's saying you could use
yeah.
mango.
I was thinking that too, or that, or apple, might work too.
Yeah, and apple. Apples are amazing in these wraps. The reason being is because apples, okay, so we need a sugar and we need fiber. So the sugar and the fiber really make the wrap really good. So apples, because they're really high in pectin and they have the sugars, they're really great options. So you could totally replace the bell pepper with an apple.
And then it gives it just a little hint of sweetness too. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Nay just saying I'm buying the bundle for the wraps. Heck yeah! But not only, don't only just open the wraps book.
First and foremost, make sure you download them all and put them in a special folder, so that way you have them forever.
Yeah, download them.
And if you really want to nerd out, you can put all of them on a zip drive and put that zip drive in your fireproof safe, and then they're safe. And you have them on your computer, you've got them backed up over here. That's the way to go.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, you guys have to download all the content, but open all the content too. Like explore the stews from Chris and explore dressings from other people. Read Matt's ebook on the salad revolution. Do Angelica's yin yoga course. Do the sacred sound healing course. Like explore all the other stuff.
If you just dove into that one and you gave that one book some undivided whole attention, 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes, even maybe when you're on the commode. Just 10 minutes. If you probably don't take that long, but if you are, that's a great time. Get in, check out the book. Imagine what can be accomplished implementing the insights and the strategies and the knowledge and the recipes and whatever it is from each book. Imagine what you could learn in less than a year's time if you just spent that time, 1 per week. That's 40 weeks because there's 40 books in there. So, man, that's amazing. And then you've got a few weeks in there that you could take off for vacation.
Yeah, exactly, right? Teams Newman is asking, where do you store the wraps you're not using? Like if each wrap makes a recipe makes 2, where do you store the wrap?
So the good way to store it, of course, we haven't stored them for too long of a time. If we were to, we're thinking of doing some tests and see about sealing them in a Ziploc. But really what we did was we just kept them on the tray. We didn't peel it. It's already dehydrated. Don't peel it. Don't mess with it. Just leave it. And how old was that one? 10 days or 12? It was 2 weeks old. 14, and we're like, let's try wrapping it up. Like, it's dehydrated. It's not going to hurt us. And we have strong gut microbiome. We're not scared. So we peeled it and we're like, wow, it's still flexible 2 weeks later. So that's a great way, is just to keep them. I mean, and of course, hopefully you eat them faster than 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly, right. Another thing too, like if you leave them on the trays, they do kind of dry out a little bit. True. Again, depending where you live. If it's more humid, they might get soggy. But the whole point is for you to make the wraps and then eat the wraps, right? Like the whole idea of like making a huge abundance or food prep, that's a cooked food mindset, right? We, in a raw vegan world, we make it and we eat it. It's not like left to be, or like making 80 wraps and then just finding a way to store them. all you need to do is blend it the night before and wrap it the next day. And then what we like to do is, like, we don't have many extra wraps, because if we have 2 or 3 or 4 wraps that we made, we wrap them all, we fill them, we wrap them all, and then we just have them in the fridge already ready to go. And then once they're wrapped, they last 3 days. So I mean, that's the extent
so good. And
of
if you have
our
a family, right, you could make them one day, make like, you know, if you have the 4 trays, you make 4 wraps, and then you've got those, that really could last for, like, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, 3 days. And, you know, like if you have you and your partner or whatever, I mean, then you guys have plenty of food for at least one of the meals. Of course, when we were building the wrap book, we were eating wraps breakfast, lunch, and dinner almost, it felt like. Like we'd start the morning, we're like, oh, I better eat the rest of this wrap. We don't have to go bad, you know? So that's where we're testing, like, how long they can sit in the fridge, because we're like, oh, we're so full. We've been eating so many wraps. So we got to see, yeah, 3 days, pretty much like the tuna fish. Oh, one of my favorites. I think I ate that the other half on the 3rd day, and I was like, this is so delicious still. It's so freaking good. Like the flavors were melding. The wrap was like nice and, you know, it was like it wasn't like terrible soft, like it was going to tear, but it was soft. Oh, so good.
Yeah, the only thing that I would avoid if you are wrapping for multiple days would be avoiding things like tomatoes and cucumbers. Then just keep dry stuff in there, like shredded cabbage, shredded microgreens, dry lettuce. Yeah, dry stuff. And then the wraps can last easily 3 days. Like if you're going to put tomatoes in, just do the fresh ones that you eat right away. Use tomatoes. But yeah, Nate is asking if I convinced my mom to eat more raw. Yes, I did. They loved the video that I did with my mom. That was really fun. I'm so glad you mentioned about the weight. Thank you so much. I do have zucchini. Perfect. Yeah. So the reason why I put the weights in the book was to make sure that you get an adequate result and that you're able to make 2 14 by 14 wraps.
Have you been drinking enough water?
So I drank all of this.
We got these half-gallon jugs of water. I don't know if I have these in my course, the links, but if you guys want the links, send us a DM, say water jugs, please. These are cool. They're glass water jug. You got a straw up here or a big mouth spot, you know, and you can lock the lid. This just makes sure that at least you're getting at least the 64 ounces worth of water, which we should be drinking that every day. And I'm like feeling it from talking so much. Like we got to make sure we're drinking the water.
Agreed. 55 Live is asking, you say you use the 6300 Vitamix, but your link is for the 5200. Is the 5200 okay? Well, the 5200 is the one that I have, but the 6300 I think is the better one.
Where are you getting that link? Is that in my course? Because man, I thought I double or even triple checked. I triple checked everything to make sure the links were working and everything. And I really wanted to make sure that the 6300 was in there. So I really appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Was that link that you got that 5200 from in my course, or was it from my master list? If it's in the course, I need to go back in there and change that, because I want to make sure that you guys get the 6300. The 6300 is bomb. It's a really strong machine, but the 5200 is still brilliant. It's a beautiful machine. I just know that mine is stronger than Lissa's, so we have Lissa's in the cupboard as a backup.
Exactly. And then we have a question from Nene is saying, is there info on creating microgreens, and where do I get the trays and
Gotcha.
seeds?
So
this is the perfect question for you.
You know, my course, unfortunately, Sprouts, Scratch, and Microgreens is not in this bundle, because everything in this bundle is brand new, right? So what you could do is just send me a direct message and say, I can send you the link to my course. You could invest in the course. And in the course has the PDF of everything that I use and mention in the course, lights, trays, seeds, everything that I know I put in that course. Or you can just ask me, say, hey, can you just send me the links for the lights and the trays, and I'll send you just those individual links. So actually what I'll do is I'll send you my master list, which has everything in it. All this stuff is in it. But if you want the course, I can send you the course as well, and you can enroll in the course, and you can enroll in the course at 40% off. Right? So just send me a direct message, and I'll make sure I get in there and answer you.
Yeah. Okay, so 55 Live says that they
Oh,
sent you a message.
okay,
You
thank
sent
you.
them a link
55
for
Live.
50.
Yes, okay, so I do remember now. Yes, so I need to get in there. That was from the master list. I need to make sure I change that on the master list. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to be creating a new master list, and Lissa will eventually too. So it will be like a storefront where we'll have all the pictures. But yeah, I know we got to wrap it up. You got to go. Yeah.
Me?
I thought you
What do
said
I
you
gotta
had
go
45 minutes,
for?
and we're like 3 minutes away.
Oh, no. I just said maybe we should try to keep
Okay,
it for
all right.
you.
Hey, I just gave you
But
a
we can keep
perfect
going.
out right there. You
We
just
can
messed
keep
it
going.
up. You totally messed it up.
Oh, well, I'm having
Okay.
a great time.
Sure.
I mean, we just have a couple more questions. So somebody
Because the reason that I said that is I want to make sure that I get my what I eat in a day for day 3 done, and I have to still do my voiceover because you guys, Lissa and I both have been putting out daily what we ate on day 3 of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. Everything that all these different amazing recipes that we've been finding in there. Every single day that we're releasing on our YouTube is brand new. So be sure to check that out. I know Lissa, you put yours out at noon, right? And I'm not going to get my timestamp, which I had planned to do it at 5 p.m., but it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to finish that up. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know, I don't care if we get on or get off right now. I just want to let you know, whoever's tuning in or tuning in later, come check out our YouTube and see what we've been making. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been so fun. Really quick, so we'll just finish up with quick answers. What's the good beginner to
I would say really what I know and love, I have I can't remember what it was called, like a Sun Blaster, the round one. It was a cheap, like $35 or $50 dehydrator. It was just like not cool. So I would get the Excalibur. The Excalibur is just like no nonsense. It's a trusted brand. It's been around forever. There's also a Sedona, I believe, out there. That looks like a cool dehydrator, but I haven't used it. What Lissa and I both have used is the Excalibur, and you can get a smaller version. You don't need to get the 9 tray, but you know what I would do? I would just get the 9 tray. You're going to thank yourself later, and it's going to last you. If you take care of it, this will last you the rest of your life. I'm telling you what, because this company, you can get all the parts. There's only like 3 parts if anything breaks. And then of course, you know, if you break the tray or the door or something, you can get those replacement parts. You can get all the replacement parts, and it's like, it will last you 25, 30, 40 years. You take care of it. Really.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Excalibur. Someone's asking, have you ever had issues with foodborne illness from eating raw food? I have
Neither have
never
I.
had a problem.
One thing I have had though is I did get an upset stomach after eating some mung bean sprouts that I bought at the grocery store that were a little bit on the slimier side, and I probably shouldn't have ate them. But I remember having an upset stomach and thought like, you know, if I didn't have a strong gut microbiome, this would probably make me sick. But I just felt uncomfortable for that day. I was like, oh, I feel gross. It must have been those sprouts. So I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was, but I thought that that's what it was because those sprouts were at that stage where you're like, I probably shouldn't eat these, but let me just eat them anyway. Yeah.
Right, oh man. Teams Newman is asking how many different wraps to make for a tasting party for 8 newbies.
Hey,
well, I would
big
make
ups
4
to you
different
for wanting
recipes.
to make the wraps for the newbies. Double high five. Pow.
Yep, right. I would make 4 different recipes, and again, you could pick, we love all of them in there, so just pick what resonates, and then I would like maybe cut one wrap into maybe 8. I don't know how, like, I guess one recipe makes 2 wraps, so you could cut them in 4.
Yeah,
so that each person has a taste.
But that would be really fun. Yeah, or you could get creative and you could take her cheese recipe and maybe some other thinner ingredients like shredded cabbage, and you could roll them up into like the pinwheels and just cut little bites of the pinwheels. But of course, that wouldn't be the wrap experience. But that's another thing you can do with the wraps.
Yeah, totally. So, thank you, my love, for sharing some of the essential kitchen tools with us. And you guys, go grab the bundle so you can make wraps. And you can attend Nate's video course sharing more things that you can use for the kitchen. So he goes into greater detail.
And our travel
all
stuff.
Kinds of tools. Yeah, and our travel stuff, the freeze dryer. There's all kinds of stuff in there. But buy the bundle, go to the link in Nate's bio or the link in my bio and get the bundle, download it, put it in backup, and enjoy all the goodies that we have for you. We're going to be back tomorrow for more lives. If you want to know all the lives that are happening every day, go to the website. Again, link in our bios. Click the 2023 live event schedule and you can see all the lives that are going on every day until May 11th. So thank you guys so much for joining. Mwah. We love you. We love you. We're going to go get working on our What I Can Do videos.